Good afternoon, everyone. This is I think, a particularly good day for those of us in Illinois and also for most people in Indiana. I know that Indiana is moving to phase 3 effective this Friday, the 22nd. I think, and I was trying to verify this, but I wasn't able to find it, but I did see it scrolling during Governor Pritzker's talk today, that Lake County, Indiana was being held back until June 1st to move to phase 3. So check on that if you're in Lake County, Indiana. Check on that yourself. Don't count on my word there, but I have seen a chart for Indiana that says that they're moving to phase 3 on the 22nd. Illinois, Governor Pritzker said today that Illinois was moving to phase 3 on the 29th. And several things have been added to phase 3 that were not included in phase 3 originally. So I'm going to ask all of you to take a look at that. The things that affect us for sure is that nail salons have been added to phase 3. It was originally in phase 4. There's some question as to the regulations which have been promised. The industry-specific regulations were promised today for later on this week. So we have just a couple of days left in this week. So I think by Friday we're going to know. I will tell you that I was honored to represent all of you in this industry on a call along with several other industry leaders and a couple of state senators and a representative on talking to the task force and IDPH members and whatnot, speaking with them yesterday. And I really don't want to cause any conjecture as far as what may be coming in that, but I do think it's in line with the things that we have been talking about for some time now, when we started directing our conversations to the comeback. And remember, every setback, including every great setback, comes with a even greater opportunity for a comeback. And that's really what we want to look to. I was looking a little bit today at a book that I shared, I think either on our first or our second one of these, and it was the book Stay Positive, which we gifted to many salons as a holiday gift. And I had a couple of things that I had earmarked, and to be honest, what's interesting about this is that at the time we read this, I really had no idea, as I'm sure did you, what would be the length of this challenge. How significant would this challenge be? The stay-at-home order, the COVID-19 coronavirus, and it obviously has been more than any of us expected, and it's not done. It's not over. So I want you to think about these things because I think they were relevant then and they're relevant now as we're going through this. So this one says, people often say that adversity makes you stronger, but that's not always true. Many face adversity and become fearful and fragile as a result. The truth is, adversity makes you stronger if you learn from it. Stay positive and resilient and use it as fuel for growth. And I think that's the point. We've been kind of going through this as our time together has gone on. And I think that what's worth thinking about here is that adversity doesn't automatically make us stronger. As John Gordon says, it really comes down to, it makes you stronger if we've learned from it along the way. And I want to share with you a couple things that I've learned. And I'm going to take some industry pride and some industry, I don't know what word I'm looking for, but I'm going to brag on our industry a little bit, is what I'm trying to say. And I could be biased as a result of this. But I think if there's something that this coronavirus and the stay-at-home order nationwide has taught us is that whether the government says we're essential workers or not, the public embraces us as essential. Try and watch. I mean, I was watching the Voice finale last night, and John Bon Jovi sang a song on that. And as he was singing the song, he held up a sheet of paper that said, "I need a haircut." John Bon Jovi. Today at Governor Pritzker's press conference, the head of the state police in the state of Illinois, while he was up there, talking about how much he was looking forward to the progression to phase 3 and get everybody getting back to work because, and I quote, he really needs a haircut. And I personally resemble that remark because I really need a haircut. And I think it's interesting. So how have we done at staying resilient? How have we done at staying positive? Because those are all things that are going to contribute to our growth. Another one here that says, you know all those struggles that you've been through. All those struggles. Think about just the struggles from this. A lot of us have had family members that became ill. Many had family members that passed. Some had family members that were hospitalized for a long period of time and you were unable to see them. You were unable to visit them. Some had family members that passed without you being able to be there with them at that most crucial time. We've been through a lot of struggles. Some of you struggled knowing, do I go with the PPP loan or do I go with the ISIL loan? Or do I wait for the new Main Street loan? Do I lay my people off or furlough them and put them on unemployment? Or do I hope I'm going to get this loan that comes through and then I'll pay them? Then we started worrying about how am I going to get forgiveness on the loan? And is that the primary focus? And then we started to say, okay, the loan, everything keeps changing. There's new rules every day. Those were struggles. I can't get into unemployment to sign up for it. Those were struggles. Do I leave the house? Am I going to wear a mask? Am I wearing gloves? Am I only going out for essential things? But gosh, it's sunny out. It's beautiful out on a weekend. Do we break the rules a little bit there? You've all gone through struggles. And so it says here, you know all those struggles you've been through, those times when everything seemed hopeless, when you didn't know how to continue on. They made you stronger, wiser, and better. If you're struggling right now, this is preparing you for growth tomorrow. You know, I think that one of the biggest things that came from this was people's own wrestling with fear. And we know, we've talked about fear before, and I think the biggest thing that had to do with fear was the fear of the unknown, the fear that we don't know when this threat of the virus is going to pass. We don't know when the numbers will stop climbing. We don't know when we'll get to reopen our businesses. We don't know if there's going to be changes yet to the PPP loan. We don't know if the government is going to allow more funding or how they'll allow more funding. Will there be more stimulus checks? How frequently will the stimulus checks be? Will the politicians ever stop fighting with one another? Because they've got the stage. And I think that what I want to say is that everyone has had to do an internal search during this on what they believe is right for them, for the way you see life, what's true for you. How do you show up in these times? And everyone has had to decide. I talked with one salon owner today that was so stressed because the last 2 days, the public in that small town in central rural Illinois, was the other businesses that were opening against the governor's stay-at-home order because their local municipality said they wouldn't enforce it. We're mad at this salon owner because she wasn't reopening. There's so much of that sort of pressure that's going on. Your people, if you're a salon owner, your people have been pressured to go to people's houses, cut their hair. Some did, some didn't. See, these are some of those times where if we learned, and I started going here and I must have distracted myself because I'm looking at a book and I don't usually look at a book. But what I wanted to say to you is that I believe right now today, hairdressers and barbers are being looked at a much higher level. They're respected more, they're outwardly needed more than at any time in the last 100 years. Our reputation, your reputation has come back to being right at the top. We need to be careful with our reputation. We need to be careful. If we get an opportunity to speak in public to a newspaper, to a radio station, to a TV station, let's be sure in the ways in which we carry ourselves. We are true professionals, and we need to carry ourselves as true professionals. And we need to always talk about care and safety first. Care and safety for our teams, care and safety for our clients and our guests, and care and safety for the overall community and being a representative of that community. So I think those things are really important. And I think that that high expectation, that high respect factor that's there right now for hairdressers and barbers is ours to maintain, or it's ours to forgive. It's ours to give back and say, oh no, we're not that you think we are. One thing is for certain. There are going to be opportunities to show what you believe and how you believe it as we open our doors back up. We made mention, the governor said today that the 29th, a week from Friday, Governor of Illinois, J.B. Pritzker, said that on the 29th, we will move to phase 3. If that's the case, and it is, salons will reopen, nail salons will reopen, many other businesses, all retail, will reopen. Every business category will have its own restrictions and best practices. And I want you to look, as an industry, as our industry, what I want you to look at is not only the restrictions or requirements, I want you to take those best practices as seriously as your business will permit you. Because we're going to be seen by our consuming public, and you're going to be seen by your staff. And they're going to say, is this move for dollar or is it for safety and care? We have that chance. So let's take that chance. Let's take that opportunity. And so here's where I think this comes in. It says here, every person and every team will be tested on their journey. It's part of the curriculum of life. It's just like riding a bicycle. In the beginning, you're going to fall off and get knocked down. But the important thing is to get back up and stay strong. And after a while, you'll master it and ride with all the confidence of a champion. Why did I pick that one? The reason I picked that one is because what's become second nature for many of you in the salon, the way you walk in the morning, the way you, perhaps some people get in super early, some people get in right at the time. All of that, everything that you know to be true, is going to be altered in one way or another by these regulations, restrictions, and best practices. It's going to be altered. As I said the other day, some people are practicing the new footprints. Like you, I'm reading many of the things on social media for people who have gone back to work and already in other states, and they talk about the face shields, and they talk about the fact that They're uncomfortable sometimes to wear. They talk about that they steam up. The face masks that go around the ears. People talk about the fact that that some people can't wear them, or they feel claustrophobic, or they have breathing issues. To be sure, even someone who's healthy, you're going to be breathing differently than what you've breathed before while you were working. So just the amount of energy that it takes to work in a salon is going to be altered when you go back. So we're going to need to, and I say that when this says that you're going to fall and you'll get up, you'll get knocked down and you'll get up, some of the things that you haven't even thought about are going to knock you down. What if you're one of those that has challenges with, with a mask? What if you're one that hasn't really paid attention to sanitation, little things? It's the basics. John Paul says all the time, successful people do all the things that unsuccessful people aren't willing to do. There's going to be some people in our business who aren't willing to do the things that are required or suggested in order to maintain safety and care of the guests who come through the door. And some people who come through the door are going to be so anxious to be serviced that they might not make a big deal out of it at the time. But long term, it's a big deal. So we have to realize, how are we going to get up? How are we going to welcome the guest? How much practice will it take? Am I ready to open? See, that's the other thing. We had such fear about not knowing, not being in control when we go back to work. Well, right now, you're basically being told that barring something unforeseen, Illinois, phase 3, the 29th of May, and everyone in phase 3, with the addition even of restaurants for their exterior seating, for their outdoor seating that weren't part of this before, even some health clubs that can do things outdoor for their training and fitness classes, there's more that's going to be opened up than you thought, than we thought, than was published, which is a good thing. You know, it is a good thing if we're safe. Safety first, safety, care, and sanitation. So, we can take our mess and make it our own message. We can transform our tests into our testimony, and our pain can become our purpose to create a better future. What I guess I want to ask you is that what future? Let's go forward 6 months from now. Let's go forward a year from now. Let's go forward 2 years from now. Where do you see yourself? Where do you see your business? Where do you see using the things that we've learned from this experience like none before? None of us have had this experience before. Our industry has never been down this road before. Our state, our federal government has never been in this spot. Many of us have the opportunity to make a difference and bring our economy back strong. Bring our industry, our profession back strong. Do it the right way. You got a chance. You got a chance to do it the right way and make a difference in your community. What's your conversation going to be with your guests? Are you going to get sucked into conversations that aren't professional? It's going to be harder to talk to your guests because of the various sanitation requirements, the PPE that you're going to need. But when you do talk, are you going to talk about whether we agree or disagree with the politicians, whether they be local or federal? Or are we going to talk about what it felt like to miss them? What it felt like to not be able to do on a daily basis what makes your heart sing? Are we going to talk about meaningful things? or are we going to talk about things that we have no control over? I'm going to challenge you that the way, the attitude that you bring into the business when it reopens is everything. It's everything. What attitude are you going to bring into your salon, your shop, your business when you come back? What conversation is going to be acceptable and not acceptable? How frequently are you going to inspect what's going on? You see, the cool thing about it is that when you're just busy day after day after day after day, and you're just doing what you've done all along, some of that becomes white noise. When you go back, nothing is going to be white noise. Nothing is going to be just background and doesn't matter. What you do matters. What you do has always mattered. And your customer has told you during this time how much it matters to them, what you do. Some of the stories that we've all heard, and you know, who knows, some of these stories may happen in your own salon. Some of the stories we've heard of unbelievable gratuities. I've heard of people giving gratuities to every single person that works in the salon when they came back. Significant gratuities. I've heard of people giving their stylist a huge gratuity. I mean, thousands. Who knows what's going to happen? There'll be those. But that's them sharing from their position in life and giving validity to your position in life. That validity that says, I missed you, I needed you, and I'm not going to take coming to the salon for granted. So for your standpoint, let's not take them for granted. Let's make sure that the way we meet and greet the public, the way we think about changing our footsteps to still provide an incredible guest experience, also takes that to the next level, which is our guest relationship. Because it's the relationship that showed itself during this time, the relationship that they feel. And quite honestly, it's a relationship that I've talked about forever when Terry and I teach. That relationship that someone has with their stylist is a relationship really like no other, or maybe a few other. Your guests see you before any important time in their life. At the holidays, they bring you things they made with their own hands. They celebrate when you have a child. They celebrate when you get married. They celebrate when you get promoted in the salon. They celebrate when you go to education and bring something new back that's just for them. They celebrate you. Let's make sure that we meet them where they're at when they come back, that we meet them with that same celebration. And we are grateful to be doing what makes our hearts sing, to be doing what we love, to be meeting and greeting the public, and let's be those. Remember how when we started this we said our role is to be purveyors of hope to all of you? I think that now becomes your role as we meet and greet the public. You are the purveyors of hope as you enter back into your salons, as you start seeing the public again. And I just want to say this has been an amazing journey. I wanted to say ride, but unless it's Tower of Terror, I don't know if it really was a ride. But this has been an amazing journey, and it's been an honor and a privilege to go through this with all of you, and to provide a kind of a meeting place for us. We're grateful for you as hairdressers and barbers. We're grateful for you as clients and friends. And we want to be there on the sidelines, cheering you on to your success as you move to the next step of welcoming people back. We love you. We love what you do. We're here. Thank God we've been blessed for 37 years of business, and our whole focus being hairdressers, barbers, salons, shops. We're going to keep doing what we love. Our consultants are coming back starting next Tuesday, so they will be contacting you if you're seen by one of our consultants. We are adding people back to our staff as we go along. We're not quite back to full staff yet, but we will be. And I just want you to know that again, it has been an honor to be part of this journey with all of you. And thank you. There's work left to be done. Let's meet this next 8-9 days with the kind of energy as a leader and as a professional that we need to have. We'll certainly be back with you at our regular times, and we'll talk about the requirements and the best practices, the suggestions, and go over that. But just know, between now and then, it's go time, right? It's go time. That's what we've been waiting to hear. So thank you for being with us. Have a beautiful evening, and we'll talk again in the coming days. Thank you.